Hey guys.
Hey, it's been not long. I'm so excited to be back.
Not long at all.
We're back.
And we're back already.
I missed you.
Just funny because we're recording this before the first episode actually even launches.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
we can't be stopped.
If you stop, you have to plan out. We're like to the age where it's like you have to look at your calendar and it's like those memes where you're trying to get together with your girlfriends. It's like, I can do from 6:12 until 6:45 on Tuesday, January of 2028.
Yep, literally. I actually, before you came over, were thinking like, okay, so I know I'm taking like a few days off and going away in April. So I should probably like let her know now so we can like look at the calendar and see what day we'll record for that week. And it's like, bitch, that's in a whole month.
Yep.
Like
and we're both
over.
going to the same place, so maybe we could just meet up there.
Ooh, yeah. Arizona podcast.
Ooh.
Literally nothing matters in Arizona. Wait, when are you going?
So I think March 28th through April 4th.
Is 28th Monday?
It's a Tuesday.
I think I'm flying back Tuesday night.
Oh, no.
Damn. Also, did you know that Scottsdale is right next to Phoenix?
Yeah, I told you that.
Oh. Because Mark and I were talking about it, and he was like, no, like, we're actually going to Phoenix. And I was like, I'm really bummed. Like, I really wanted to go to Scottsdale. And he was like, we can literally stay in Scottsdale the first night. We can Uber right over. It's right next door. And I was like,
So great.
you
Yeah.
are confused, sir. And then I looked at the map, and it's like Phoenix, Scottsdale.
Yeah.
It's like a suburb
right
of
there.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
So
Yep. It's such a nice spot.
geography.
Cool.
You learn something new every day. This is also an educational podcast.
Yes, welcome to our geographic podcast.
Yes.
Where we learn where the states of America are.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually tough.
Because
I'm really
Phoenix is a state.
You know, that's where the head is.
We're doing our best.
That's-
How are you doing today?
I'm a little all over the place. I feel like life is just crazy, and it's always crazy. And I'm not saying it's crazy in a bad way or a good way.
Mhm.
It's just a little crazy, you know?
Yeah.
How about you?
Literally same.
Yeah,
Same.
yeah.
And I feel like people will like, I don't know, they're like little like sayings, or people will like make comments of like, being an adult is just realizing that like, life is always going to be chaotic and you're never going to figure life out. And I'm like, that doesn't make me feel better.
No. Nope. All the things. And I was actually thinking about this the other day because I was in a group and someone had commented trying to make me feel better about something. And I'll give like the very short story, but I was saying a little bit about like, oh, I'm a little overwhelmed with the baby. And she was said, well, just wait till they get bigger, bigger kids, bigger problems. And I don't think that she
Thanks,
meant
bitch.
it. No, I don't think that she meant it like intentionally
Yeah,
mean.
of course not.
But I think we're so conditioned to say those things and to have a response to when people are uncomfortable. And you want to make it either lighter or you want to make it better. So you have these kind of like one-off comments.
Right.
And I don't even think that she was thinking that idea. I think it was more like, I have to say something. And this is what
Yeah.
other people say to me. It's
Right.
that like,
Or
I
like,
did the
it's
same
not
thing
so
too.
bad.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
trying
Totally.
to put a different perspective. But people will also do that, which like is fair, because having a child, as I have witnessed, is no freaking joke. But like when people say things like, you don't even know what tired is until you didn't even have a kid, why are you tired? Like, I know, but I just am still.
Yeah, that doesn't make me not tired.
Right,
But thank
exactly.
you.
Like that doesn't actually help, but thanks so much for your input. Like I know I'm weak, but let me be weak.
So, we had talked a little bit about starting our podcast with a rose, a bud, and a thorn. And I had stolen this idea from my other friend, so shout out to you. But
I love it.
So a rose is going to be something that's like going on wonderful in your week. A bud is going to be kind of like what's blossoming, what are you excited for? And then of course a thorn is something that's like not so good.
Yeah.
So I want to hear about your life. Let's start there and then we'll jump kind of in deeper.
Yeah. First of all, I love this because growing up, my mom was pretty adamant about us eating dinner together, all as a family, and we would always go around and say our highs and our lows of the day. So I feel like it's kind of similar, but I like the little bud thing too.
You can think about it,
So
see it in
creative.
your mind.
Love it. Okay, let's see. my rose, I feel like would just be like the podcast. Like I feel like we kind of set it not like totally live yet, but like put it out in the world, and the response has just been really like heartwarming, and people that like we haven't heard from in so long that like, I don't know, maybe I'm like cynical, but like didn't think that like they would really give a crap about what I'm doing, what we're doing. We're like so sweet and supportive. So it just like makes me excited to like have something that's like not like work. It's like a passion project, and like, I don't know. And we get to just hang out and shoot the shit.
I love it.
So that's definitely the rose. I have two thorns.
Okay.
Second one is funnier than the first one. The first one being, you already know about it, but so we are in my
It's a sharp one.
my old 1890s house, and we just moved in December and are like doing projects, and we went to paint the trim in the dining room, which goes up like is that wainscoting? That's what that's called. And Mark, like, you know, sanded some spots. I'm not going to, like, blame him because it's both of us. But I said before, I'm not going to blame him. However, but I said, we need to prime the paint. And he's like, no, let's just paint it. It's going to take so much time. And then we spent 2 days painting all of the trim and the doors and the frame, the door frames, all the stuff. And then it all starts peeling off because it was oil-based paint underneath. So now we have to steam it all and scrape it all off and then repaint it. And it's just like a giant pain in the ass. And it's just annoying.
The color's going to be...
But it's going to be great. And if that's the worst mistake that we make, it's like literally not a big deal at all. And it is...
So much work, though.
Like we were just like... sitting there with like the steamer and like scraping and just so miserable on Sunday, and just looked at each other and we were just like, one day we're going to laugh about this. Like, I swear one day we will. Yeah. But like, I don't want to do this annoying stuff. I just want it all to be like done and put together a little bit, but it's fine. Not a big deal. And then the second one.
Ooh.
So at work every month, personal trainer at Lifetime, it's like corporate-y. And every month, our team does like a physical challenge as a team. And whoever wins the challenge gets to pick the challenge for the next month and doesn't have to participate. And in the middle of this challenge, which I'll get to, I was just thinking of like what people probably think working as a personal trainer, especially in like a corporate setting like that, must be like.
In my mind, I was like, red flag. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That is like my worst fear, having to partake in a physical.
It like, literally.
Like, what?
Yes.
And then like all like jacked people. Like that's what I'm thinking.
Literally. It's me and one other woman who is like same size, same vibe. Okay. Everyone else are like these like large men that are like great. I love them all. But like they're like gym bros. Pretty much.
Okay.
And so, like, you would think that's what it's like. A bunch of, like, bros that are working out all the time. And then, so, the guy that won last time is, like, the most jacked person I've ever seen, but also is, like, the best human best human. And also is really into, like, this thing called animal flow, which is kind of, like, a cross between, like, yoga and mobility. And you're in, like, bear crawl positions and all this.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Multifaceted man.
Okay.
So he had us do a bear crawl challenge.
Okay.
So if you don't know what a bear crawl is, imagine being on all fours, but then making your knees hover.
It's hard.
And walking, like crawling. It sucks. It sucks. And so he's like, we're going to do it until failure. So when your knees drop. Yeah. Like, and like, this is at work in like a meeting. Like, I'm just like, what the hell? And so he's like, my record is 12 minutes. And all of us are like, that's literally insane. That's never going to happen. No. So we start crawling literally in a line just throughout the gym.
That's what I was thinking too. Like, where are you? What do you do?
Just on the fitness floor. It was like at 2 p.m., so it was pretty dead. But like there were like enough people around that they were just like,
you're just like in a line, just like walking around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. Growl.
Yeah. Like
I'm a polar bear.
Yes. Yes. Well, one of the
panda
trainers,
bear.
yes. I'm like, I am a koala. I just want to lay down.
You just fall. You're like, oh shit.
Yes. I just want to lay down and have a snack. And so we're going, and it ends like one guy falls, and then it's me, the other girl on the team, and then this one kid that I kind of have beef with. And me and Elaine just looked at each other, and we were just like, there's no way that we're dropping. And so we're going, and it goes on, and the guy wouldn't tell us how long it was. I'm literally dripping sweat everywhere. It's like an embarrassing amount. No one else is. Okay. An embarrassing amount. I have to stop every 2 seconds to like wipe it out of my eyeballs. And then he finally drops his knees down, so then me and her drop down together.
Okay. Oh, I love that. That's really cute.
We were like, okay, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, solidarity. It was 55 minutes. Which I'm not saying to be like, I did that for 55 minutes. It was the worst day of my life. I will never physically, mentally, emotionally recover.
No, you'll never look at a bear again.
I will never be able to look at a polar bear again.
That is terrible. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Are your legs still, or can you walk?
It's like legs, shoulders, wrists. Like I literally had like a bruise on my wrist yesterday. My forearms. Like I was like trying to train clients the next day, and I was just like, I can't do anything. So basically, I'm suffering from workplace abuse.
Yes.
And help me. This is a cry for help. Yeah. So that was my thorn.
Wow.
That I'm being physically abused.
I feel like that might be a rose, though. That's like exciting.
I mean, it was exciting that I was like, yes.
Yes. I love
wieners.
That so much.
Yeah, girl power.
Girl power.
So now we have to think of like the most suffering challenge for a man that we can put them through. So if you can think of one.
Hard 75 or whatever the hell it's called.
Oh my God.
What is that called?
Yeah, 75 hard.
Yeah.
Do
that. That would be sick.
You're like, so you have to do this for 75 days. It's not just one meeting. It's on. But the thing is like, they're all such psychos. They're all going to listen to this and be like, wow, you hate us all. I love you guys. But like, they're intense. They're way more intense than I am. Physically. Like, that's just not my vibe.
Okay.
And they would do it, like, hands down.
Yeah, they're like, sure.
And I'd be like, what?
Yeah, you lose your own challenge.
Literally. I'm like, I can't have dessert? Fuck that.
All right, we're out. We're out. Wow.
So,
I love that.
I spent a lot of time questioning my career choices.
Yes. What else is new?
Yeah, literally every day of my life. So that's the thorn. And then my bud. I feel like I had something.
Something that's blossoming.
Oh, well, related to what we're going to talk about today.
Yes.
I feel like I've really been in a rut. So trying to like get my groove back and like focus on my mental health a little bit. And I got up and I pushed myself to go to the gym, even though I was feeling like I didn't want to and I felt uncomfortable about it, which we could talk about like later because I feel like I've been talking forever. And I did it, and I feel like I haven't really been like wanting to do like strength workouts or anything. I have like a lot of mixed feelings about exercise these days after.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
You're like a fitness instructor,
I
and
know.
you're like, working out is hard.
Yeah.
So I'm not alone.
It's like a mix of I'm afraid to fall back into like obsessiveness with exercise after like really feeling like I got into a good point of like my relationship with food and exercise and my body, and not wanting to like slippery slope back into that, especially in the environment that I'm in.
Yeah.
But then there's also like the mental aspect of like, it actually really does help. Right. Like, this sucks, but turns out it really does help when you do exercise in whatever way like feels good for you.
I
you know?
was going to say, I think that it's so dependent on what your body is craving, and then really doing it because your body is like, this is working. And then if you're doing something and it's not working, you don't have to keep doing it.
100%. Like that is
You know?
my vibe and motto.
Yeah.
But I went and I like did like a really like heavy strength workout and like really pushed myself, and I haven't pushed myself like that in a workout in a really long time. And I think the bear crawl thing kind of like reminded me of like
How strong you were.
yeah, and like it sucks, but then you feel
Yeah.
really
Empowered.
accomplished on the other side. So I felt that endorphin rush, and I haven't felt it in a minute. So I feel
Cool.
good. So I feel like I'm like on a good path of like, okay, we can maybe do this sometimes.
I love that.
Just talked a lot. How are you?
Okay. I feel like I'm just like, it's soaking it all in. I'm like listening.
You're like, this is great because I just want to close my eyes for a minute.
You see me just put my eyes
You're
shut.
like, I'm listening. It's like when Mark and I try to watch a TV show, and he's just like, no, don't change it. I'm listening.
Oh my God. I love it. I love it so much.
You.
Oh my gosh. All right. I'm going to start backwards. I'm going to start with my thorn.
Okay.
So I feel like, just to get it off of my chest, there's not like one big event whatsoever. But I feel like lately, you know, the season of motherhood, I am just all over the place. And like, I think that it's just the transition from being such like a type A person, and then you have a baby, and obviously all those postpartum things come to play. But I think what I'm learning from my baby in particular is that like I cannot be a type A person anymore.
Yeah.
And I love living in like black and white. Like it's either this or it's that. And I'm being forced now to live in this kind of gray matter. And I'm feeling like I'm just swimming in like indecisiveness, and I don't feel confident in anything. I make choices and I'm like, what? You know, I'm talking and I'm like, am I making sense? So I feel like I'm just kind of like getting a little engulfed in that feeling lately. And it's getting just kind of like in a rut. And it's not that it's so like mentally I'm like depressed or anxious. I wouldn't say it's either of those. It's just like this feeling of feeling confused all the time, and trying to just like be okay with that. And I feel like I go back and forth of just like, you know, in one sense, I'm like, it is okay. I am keeping a human alive. I am doing X, Y, and Z, and this, and this, and this, and this. And then on the same token, I am like in my head, oh, don't forget this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And the list goes on and on and on. So I'm feeling very overwhelmed, just in general, you know? So I think that that is my thorn, and I feel stuck in that.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just coming to terms with it and accepting that that is just the reality right now,
Right.
instead of laughing it off, or instead of, you know, being like, well, it's just one day. Like I've been in this for a little bit. So I think it's the realization that that's just reality right now.
Yeah. I think that's good. That's like a healthy way of looking at it, where
Yeah.
like it kind of sucks to sit in it,
Yeah.
but you can't
That's how
just
you move
ignore
on.
it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think that just in general in life, that is what everyone does, is like you have these feelings, but like you just keep going, you know? And it's like,
Especially
I'm
in our,
not
like,
working right now,
culture.
so I don't have anything to distract me other than, you know, what's stressing me out, I guess. And so it's like, you don't have any choice, you know?
Yeah.
And
Totally.
that like is such a bigger conversation on these other big things that are going on in my life. Like if I'm going to go back to work or not. And then I'm bouncing back and forth. Like, do I really want to go back to work? What is in my best interest? If I were to peel away society's like, no, you need to start doing these things. Like, what would I really like to do? And so I'm just kind of like sitting in all of these really big life moments, I guess. So that's kind of my thorn. And I'm going to try to keep, I was listening to the podcast before, and I was like, oh my God, I was like all the frig over the place. Like, I'm going to talk about this and talk about that.
We both were, because we just were so excited. Yeah.
So it's hard because I'm thinking about like my rose, my bud, my thorn, and a lot of them are the same.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I'm upset about this, but I'm also so excited about this. I'm excited for what's going to come from it. So I'm going to try my best to keep things kind of in line. So I would say that my bud, I was going to say my blossom, my bud is aligning with the thorn of like, I'm in this place, but I know I'm not going to be stuck here forever.
Yeah.
And I'm able to kind of like, I was sitting down with my husband the other day, and I'm like, I feel so just like I'm not doing anything. Like you come home and there's like crap everywhere, and I haven't even like brushed my teeth yet. And I'm like, shit, when was the last time I showered? Like,
Yeah.
what are all these things? But then I was really thinking about it, and I have all these things going on. Like, we're starting this podcast, which, like, I'm hoping will blossom into something huge.
Yeah.
I'm, like, writing a children's book. I'm writing a book with a couple of my other friends for, like, a reading, decodable series. And I have this rental property. It's like all this crap.
Yeah,
that I'm
like,
like,
you
these
are
are
doing a
big
lot.
things, and I like want to give myself credit. And I feel like I'm now just like realizing that there's all these things and there's so much potential in them.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to see kind of where all of them go and just like allowing them to be, like
Yeah.
not putting like a cap on anything and not doing it for anyone but myself and just going with like what's going to feel best. Like this
Yeah.
podcast feels so good, and I'm not doing it for like listeners or
Yeah.
for the credentials or whatever you want to call it. But it's just cool to kind of like see that there's so many possibilities, and they're overwhelming, yes, but it's like the choice
Yeah.
is yours, honey. Like,
Yeah.
come and take it.
And
know?
like recognizing what you're doing,
yeah.
because I feel like sometimes if it's not this like linear path with a very clear outcome, it can feel like, well, I'm not doing anything, or I'm not doing that one career thing that I thought I was going to do, or the
Like
path
everyone
that I thought-
does.
Right. It can feel like, well, I'm not doing anything.
Right.
It's like, you're doing a lot.
Yeah. And it's like, yes, maybe I'm not going back into the classroom as a classroom teacher, that career, but like I'm working.
Yes.
I'm working more than I ever have, you know?
Yes.
So it's like, what defines a job? I think that's like a mind F in itself
Yeah.
of like redefining that term for me.
Yeah. Well, I think our generation and like Gen Z are really doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it really scary because it is kind of uncharted territory in like the larger sense. Like, yeah, of course there have been like entrepreneurs and stuff before, but
Right.
like more and more people are forging their own path.
Yeah.
And so there's not really a clear like, how do I do this thing for us to follow?
And I
Which
was
is
just
scary
thinking
but
of-
exciting.
Which is so funny when you said forging your own path for some reason. My mind was just thought, Leif Erikson. Like, I don't know why, but that's all I could think about. I had to get it out. Okay.
Where is that from again?
Leif Erikson? He's like the Voyager.
But wasn't there like a SpongeBob episode that was like a spin-off of not a spin-off of Leif Erikson, but like a SpongeBob version of him?
I don't know, but
I don't know. That's
I'm
what
going to
my
be
brain's at.
Googling that. So anyways, again, that's where my mind is in the fog of things. You're like Voyager. I'm like Leif Erikson.
That will be the,
Nope, we're
the
talking
title
about
of
me.
this week's podcast. We are Leif Erikson.
We can all be a Leaf
Yes.
if we want to be.
Yes. Do you ever feel
Mrs. Erikson. Okay.
like a plastic bag drifting through the wind? Or a leaf?
Sorry, I digress. But anyways, so getting back into what I'm trying to focus on. So now I'm going to go to my rose. So it's hard. It's like all these things, you can roll into a thorn, to a bud, to a rose, It's like now I am so excited. I'm happy that this podcast is actually off, It's like, here we go.
It's
is
happening.
It perfect? No, nothing's perfect, Like, we're just getting started. We're jumping right in. And I think agreeing completely with what you were saying, the outpouring of like messages and from people that like I haven't heard from in forever.
Yeah.
It's funny because all I could think about was like, shit, these people are making me a better person because now they're like giving me a platform to now like rise to. They're reaching out to me when like, would I have done that to them? Thinking about
Yeah.
it, probably no. But like knowing how good it feels, now I'm going to start to do it.
Yeah. Oh,
And
I
it's,
love
like,
that.
So cool to think. It's kind of like, when you pay for someone's coffee behind
Yes.
you. It's like, it just is like such a rolling effect of kind of like someone taps you and like you light up, so you light other people
Yeah,
up.
100%.
And I think that just makes me so excited to like, I'm just thankful for people reaching out and saying, or even like, liking something. And it's
Yeah.
like, thank you. Because I don't know if I would be brave enough to do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? That's
Or to
so
like send a
silly.
text or a DM or
Yeah.
something of just like, hey, this is really awesome. Like, I can't wait to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I didn't even know that you
yeah, knew that I was still around.
right. Like,
Yeah.
knew that I still existed. like,
Yeah.
it's
And so I
really
think that it
nice.
just like is making me realize that like it's not weird to reach out to
Yeah.
people that you haven't talked to and to just say like,
and like
You're
force
doing a
you
good
out
job.
of your own bubble.
Yeah.
Too.
It's funny how we like put ourselves
100%.
and then another rose that I have, which is just like hysterical that I have to share. I love that noise for us.
Really hope that didn't pick up on that, but crazy shit going on in the neighborhood.
Shit, where are we? Another rose that I have is like the cutest thing in the world. So I've been taking Annie to this parenting center that since she was born, I've taken like different classes. In every class that I've gone to, I'm like, oh my God, like I'm dragging this kid there. She's always the only one like crying during it. It's like always like in the middle of nap time or like I'm learning how to breastfeed in the middle of this class or whatever. So this is the
Titties
first
out.
class. Yeah, I'm like, whatever. That I don't feel like that. It's a new it's a music class and she loves it. And I feel like I have my shit together for it. And I feel like it's the first time that I've ever been able to do that of like, we're here. Like, I don't have to bring like my whole house with me, you know, like I bring her and my boob and, you know, that's it. And we make it work. But it's just so cute because it's like just to paint the picture a little bit. And I say like I have my shit together, but like this was the first class. So last week we were up in New Hampshire and we're like, all right, got to get back. It's the first class of this music series. So we leave from New Hampshire. We hit all this traffic. We literally get there. The class starts at 11. We get there at like 11:03. We come in like running. My husband's never been to a class before. I'm like, you have to come. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be great. I'm like, it's so low key, whatever.
Yeah.
Funny. Joke's on me.
Not low key.
We walk in. There's like 15 other families. The teacher is like Miss Frazzle from like the Magic School Bus, like wicked dressed up, colorful. Like everyone's already singing and clapping. Chad looks at me. He's like, "What the F are you making me do?" We like sit down. We're sweating. The room's a million degrees. Annie's like just waking up from a nap. She's still in her jammies. Like is hungry. Still has like a wet diaper. And I'm like, this is wonderful. We're here. We made it.
Forced family fun. Starting
family fun.
right from the jump.
And it was just like a funny moment because I'm like, this is such a shit show, but like it's also a good shit show, you know? So it's just a good little time.
I love that.
Yeah.
And it's like those like messy moments that are like actually what you're gonna remember and like making good memories and like funny memories. It's not just like this picture perfect.
Right.
Like how boring is that?
Right.
You know?
Right. We're just living in the shit show.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure are.
Yeah.
Can breathe.
That's us. I know. I literally, yesterday I woke up and I was like, already like boom, 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 boom. Like, get your notes out, write down all the things.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope. Instead of that, I'm going to pull up a YouTube and I'm going to do a breathing exercise.
Yes.
I could not do that shit for anything.
No.
Oh my God. I'm like sitting there like, when the fuck is this going to be over? Like,
That's how I feel whenever I try to
God.
meditate. I can't do it.
Oh my God. I used to love it when I was pregnant. And so I was like, I need to get back into this. Maybe that's going to be like my thing to get out of this funk, you know? Oh my God. No, it made it worse. It's like really hard to meditate or breathe or any of those things. Like, I don't know. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I'm not good at it. Like, I feel like you have to, like, find your version of what that might be.
Yeah, but it changes all the time, too.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I think right now it's like, I just am not in that headspace. I need to be, like, walking or, like, moving or...
Same.
Yeah.
And, like, a lot of times, like, I'll use my, like, walk with Mr. Pullman as, like, trying to disconnect. Like, I'll put my phone on silent and, like, I'll listen to, like, an audiobook or a podcast or something. So, like, I'm technically not just, like, alone with my thoughts. So maybe I should try that.
Nah.
But, like...
no good time for that.
Feels scary. And I won't check my phone for, like, 30 minutes to an hour. And even just that feels like, okay, it's something.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Totally. Sip of something.
I know.
Something bubbly.
I'm
wish it were
struggling, though. I know, right? We have a lot in this house because
Don't tempt me, girl. Okay.
when you buy a house and when you get married, such
Uber
engaged.
home. I'm like,
Yeah, right? Chad, come pick me up. I'm wasted. Mark comes home and we're just like passed out on the couch. But like, people get you a lot of champagne. And like, it's very rare that you just like open up a bottle of champagne by yourself, you know? I mean,
tonight might be the night.
tonight might be the night for real.
You know?
Oh, what I was going to say, I'm struggling. This isn't the best podcast drink because it's so bubbly. I keep wanting to burp, and like,
Ooh.
we're only 2 episodes in. Like,
Yeah, we
we're not,
can't break up.
we're not there yet. I don't think.
Agreed.
But
The time will come.
yes,
It'll be like a reel or something.
yeah, right.
All the
Just
outtakes.
this is me. Hello.
It me.
Um. So let's chat about, because I feel like this is a pretty.
It's our topic.
Yeah, like everyone goes through these feelings. Even like all the feelings that you were just talking about with having a kid and feeling like you're in this gray area.
Yes.
I don't even have a child yet. And I feel like I've been in that for like a few months now. And that's what scares me the most about having a child. So like
Yeah.
we've even talked about it where you're like, do you think that we're going to like try after the wedding and stuff? We're like, I feel like I need to like figure this out a little bit before I bring a kid into the mix, because that scares me the most.
Yeah.
Because I already feel like I'm in that. So like, could be an even worse spiral.
Yeah, it was weird.
But-
Before getting pregnant, I was like really, because I have anxiety. I was like, I was telling like my husband, I'm going to have postpartum anxiety.
Yeah.
So like, let's get ahead of it. Like, let's get therapy. Let's do these, breathing exercises, visualization, all the other things. And then I was so surprised and so lucky. It's literally luck of the draw that I
Yeah.
did not have postpartum anxiety. But this feeling was so unexpected.
Yeah.
Like the feeling of like, you're not alone. I wouldn't say I feel alone, but just like I'm not on the same earth as like
Yeah.
I was,
Yeah.
and I don't connect to people in the same way.
Yeah.
I either connect deeper or it's like surface
Yeah.
level, and it's all I can offer sometimes,
Yeah. Totally.
But yeah, it is a weird area. Now I'm thinking of the song Area Shaded Gray. What is that song? I'm going to think of it. But anyways, that's where
That
I'm
sounds
living.
so familiar. But
It's like part of a rap. Do you want me to start spitting
Yeah.
rap over here?
I would like you to give me the full verse.
You'd be surprised at how many raps I know.
I am not surprised by that, actually.
Who's your favorite rapper?
Oh my God.
Yeah, big question.
Here's the thing.
I'm going to judge you if you say someone wrong.
No. I mean, I feel like I have deep ties, a very long lasting relationship with Nelly. He was one of my first CDs that I owned, which is hilarious. 'Cause,
Yes.
like, why did I own so many Nelly CDs? Like in
Why
like,
not?
5th grade? Weird. Actually, so I grew up in a town that like our high school and middle school brought in like a lot of, it's not like inner city because it was like in Connecticut, but like into our school because we had like programs and our public school was better than like, the couple towns over. So like I didn't go to like a super white middle and high school before we moved, and that confused me a lot, I think.
Yes.
And for a little bit, I had so many like rap posters on my wall. 50 Cent.
Of course.
Like, what was his?
G-Unit.
G-Unit. Like Eminem, all of these. And my grandma would like come and she would stay in my room when she would visit. And she always was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like, this feels like it's not
This isn't you,
a
Amanda.
7th grader's bedroom.
Oh, please.
Just like, yeah.
So tough.
Like, what, bitch?
I love that.
Embarrassing.
I love that.
Or like, do you remember that movie? Oh my God. What was it? It was like a dance movie. It was before Step Up.
I was going to say Step Up.
It was before Step Up. But they had this, like, add-on DVD that you could buy.
Oh.
It's not So You Think You Can Dance.
So
oh my
you
God.
were rich because you had an add-on.
It
were
was
rich.
Yeah.
You could afford those DVDs.
Yes, you know.
They were expensive.
I remember I saved up my babysitting money to buy a little TV for my bedroom.
Oh, those were
with the
so
DVD
cool.
player.
Yeah.
'Cause I
With
was
VCR
like,
and DVD.
yeah, look out.
Yeah.
But it was whatever it was. Take It to the Streets,
Ooh.
where they taught you some of the dances.
I would die to be a fly on the wall.
Right? And I was just like, I would like lock my bedroom door and then be like,
Yeah. Yeah. Sharp.
and it's Megan's favorite story, my sister, to tell any new person that like I'm dating or whatever.
All these men that you're dating.
All of the men that I'm dating, like prior to Mark, obviously. But like any new person that comes into our life, she has to bring up the story, and it is mortifying.
I love that.
So that's a little about me. Anyways, who's your favorite rapper?
I'm like sitting here patiently waiting. I'm totally kidding. But I've been waiting to tell you my favorite rapper because he's very important to me.
I'm really excited.
And you know that I grew up in a trailer park. So, like, me and the rap game is strong.
Yeah.
Okay. And I actually did. But my favorite rapper is Kid Rock.
That was not what I was expecting. But I'm here for it.
Every single word to, like, every single one of his songs. I've been to his concerts. Me and my mom have gone. Like, it's a family affair.
I'm into that answer,
and he's
actually.
Completely degenerate and opposite of everything I view. But I love him just the same, you know?
Yeah. The Kid Rock bar in Nashville.
Oh, I
iconic.
haven't been there.
Amazing.
Been there.
It is so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Okay. I don't think I could hang in Nashville right now, to be honest with you, but I mean, put it on my list.
Me neither.
Yeah. He's fabulous. Life-changing, truly. So Kid Rock. Anyways, sorry, I totally had to get that out of.
No, I think that was pertinent information for everyone to hear, for sure.
I would love to know other people's favorite rappers.
Go off in the comments.
I would love that because that's like my connection. Okay. Anyways, so we were talking about
being in a rut and getting out of it.
Yes, you could listen to Kid Rock, and that could help.
Or Nelly.
What else could you do?
Or watch Nelly on So You Think You Can, not So You Think You Can, Dancing with the Stars, because he was a gem of man.
He really was.
His smiley white veneers and lack of dancing ability, but like he was having the best time.
Yeah.
Because when you're Nelly, like, you don't have to care about anything, and literally nothing matters for him.
Literally,
he's like, I'm getting a paycheck and I'm having some fun.
Yep.
He smiled so big,
He's
like
so
you
cute.
couldn't not smile watching him.
I know.
It was very adorable.
Definitely opposite of 50 Cent on the halftime show last year.
Oh my god! Yes.
I was like, boy,
hanging upside down.
I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
We've all
He's like, I'm
aged,
tired.
and I would look the same way if I had to hang upside down and sing.
People were really, that actually pissed me off. People were so mean about that. It's like, he's a lot older than he was when he was in that video in 2004.
Totally.
Like, I know we'd all like to
aged a little bit. Okay. Give him a break. Give 50 a break.
Yes. He's been out here working hard.
Yeah.
Surviving bullet wounds. Like, God damn.
Yeah. Let a man live. So we were saying that we have been in ruts. So like, what have you been doing to kind of help you? Are you trying to get out of the rut, or are you just kind of still in it? Where are you in the process?
I'm definitely still in it.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like what you were talking about before. But I'm like trying to actively choose things that will help me get out of it, because I feel like with this kind of stuff, you can't just like wish it away, or just be like you were saying, like you can't just like push the feelings down and be like, nope, it's okay, I'm better now. Like, for sure you can like work on your mindset, but like you have to like actively make some choices. So like last Saturday, or like 2 Saturdays ago, I don't remember, some of my friends who were like previous personal training clients love this dance studio that does like dance fitness classes that are very just like, you are twerking. The woman is like, touch your body, like you're moving your hips, like definitely get out of your comfort zone kind of vibe. But like, they go off like raving about how good they feel when they go to those things. And they're like, you should come with us. And it's like, from here, actually, it's not that far. But like, in my head, I'm, talking yourself out of it. Like, well, I have things to do, and like, I'll kind of be rushing, and like, do I really like need to pay for this? Like, thinking of every excuse.
Yep.
And I was like, no, shut up. One, like you were saying, really nice that these people that like, I don't really know that well, went out of their way to invite me to it and like want to spend more time with me outside of just like their paid personal training sessions. Like that's really nice. And like, will it make you feel better? Probably. So like, why not just go spend this hour on a Saturday morning? And it was amazing.
Was it?
Yes.
Were you shaking the booty?
I was shaking that thing.
Your whole body
was
shaking. You're like convulsing.
Yeah. I mean, I
was shaking.
I did, yes. I was shaking after. She literally had us like, you know, like you'll do like a walkout into a plank, like an inchworm kind of deal.
Yeah.
So she had us like bend. We're going to visualize it right now.
Ooh.
Not the whole thing. Because
you're
like,
going to act it out?
Some space. So she would have you basically like bend over, crawl out, and then like.
Are you on all fours?
No,
Do you have a
you're like
table?
basically in a plank.
Okay.
And then you're like, oh, hello. Body rolling the floor. Like humping the floor.
My God. Hi, Poe.
Poe is in it.
Oh, God. Your breath stinks,
Buddy,
Poe.
come here, bud.
Stinky.
What stinky
breath,
man?
dude.
Come here, buddy.
Stinky.
Can you sit down? Sit.
I love that for you, though. That's great.
Poe just really has a lot to say. Okay, buddy.
Want to see me roll?
He's like, I can do that too. Poe.
Okay, Poe.
I know. You have so much love to give. Come lay down on your spot, Bubbles. Okay, maybe sit right here. Sit down.
Yeah. This dog.
So that helped me. What about you? What else have you been doing? Have you been doing anything? Are we sitting in it? Where are we in?
I think that I'm
in your
definitely
rut
in like the
journey?
realization of just like we're here. But a couple things that I have been doing, I have been seeing a therapist who I lie to.
That could be a segment. What lies did you tell your therapist this week?
I know. I was actually brought it up to another friend. I was like, I found myself lying to my therapist to please my therapist, and she was like,
Oh.
"Oh, I do the same thing." I
Yeah,
was
you want to like
"Thank
impress
God."
them. Be like, look, I did my homework.
Yeah,
Look at the
and
improvement.
I read the tone that she says things like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's bad of me." And I'm like, "Well, no, not really." But anyway, so I've been seeing a therapist and lying to her, so that's feeling great.
So we are making some major progress.
Yeah. Therapy's one of those things too of like I always go back and forth like it's so uncomfortable sometimes and then you get out of it and you're still in that feeling even though your paid time is over. So it's like
Yeah, it's hard. You have to like be ready to be like, okay, we're gonna cry today, and then probably feel like shit for the rest of the night.
yes. And I was talking with my friend about this as well, and we were like, is it worth it? Like you're opening a wound up and then you're sitting in that wound, you know? And I think sometimes it is beneficial and sometimes it's really hard, and I still don't have the answer of like if that's helpful for me at this point or not, which is funny because that's always like a thing, you know, go to therapy. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's a balance.
It's a balance, and there's different types of therapies, of course. So I'm trying this new one out. I've been for like maybe a month or two, and I'm just trying to get things off my chest, and I don't think I'm actually trying to like work through them yet. So
Yeah.
maybe that's the next step. So that's one thing that I'm doing. And then something I was just thinking about last night, I have 2 dogs, and I took only Lincoln, and it was on an errand, and he was the only one that wanted to come in the car with me, of course. It wasn't
Yeah.
by choice. And I took just Lincoln to grab like a prescription for my other dog. And then we were right down the street from the beach, and I was like, you know what, Lincoln, we're going to go to the beach. I don't have my cell phone on me because I forgot it at home because, of course, I was like running out the house. And I brought just one of my dogs to the beach, and he ran around and was like confused that we were alone. Like, what do you mean? We have a cat, another dog, a dad, and a baby, and it's just me and mom.
Mama time.
And yeah, I just kind of like was sitting with him for literally probably 3 minutes.
Yeah, but
total.
like that's nice.
Yeah, it was nice. It really was. And it was like, I was disconnected. I was, of course, worrying like, oh, I need to get home. What if the baby needs me? Like, God forbid her dad figured something out.
Right.
Which he does. But
Yeah.
it was like those little things. And I think that it's like trying to
important.
find those little moments within every day of like, what do I need? You know, and in that moment I needed just like a breath and to be outside.
Yeah.
And it can be those little things. I don't think it has to be this like grandiose event
No.
that you do to like check off a box. So I think it's like trying, at least right now, trying like one little thing a day to kind of like ground me or, you know, make me feel like I'm doing something for myself.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I've been working on
I love that.
for now.
Yeah.
But I hope to have more ideas because I feel like I want to find different ideas too. I feel like there's the normal, like journaling and meditating and breathing.
And then you're just like going through the motions sometimes.
And I'm like, that just has never felt great to me. So like trying to find different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, I think a huge part of it is like what you were just saying, is that like finding time to be present. I don't remember where I heard this. If it was like on a podcast or probably, I feel like I'm like always listening to podcasts.
Totally.
I have to take this beast of a man for lots of W's. And except he's being very cute right now. Yes. He's like, oh, do you want to hold my hand?
Yeah.
But like a lot of times we're like chasing like joy and happiness and feeling like it's like one or the other, right? Like you're either like really high or really low, where sometimes it's like we really just need to be like working on that baseline.
Yes.
Right in the middle.
I like that idea.
Right? Like it takes the pressure off a little bit.
Yeah.
But a huge part of that is just like learning how to be present, because like our society isn't anymore. And I know that's where like my anxiety comes from, is because I never unplug and I'm always being like stimulated. Like I was saying before, like I'll go for a W and listen to a podcast or an audiobook, which can feel like soothing and relaxing. But then I come home, and then when I'm cooking dinner, I'm also listening, like continuing to listen to that. Or then I'm sitting on the couch and then I'm looking at TikToks, and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You can be in silence or just put on music or like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
That definitely.
I really want to hear from people to see if there's any other strategies that people use too that help them.
Yeah.
That aren't the traditional, what you should be doing. I would love to hear that.
Yeah. Well, I think even sometimes it's like another like saying kind of thing of like, we look at self-care as like taking a bubble bath and like putting on a face mask, which like it can be that for sure. Like that could be a moment of like, okay, I'm being present for myself. I'm going to like have my husband take care of the kid for an hour so I can have some like me time. But a lot of times self-care is like doing harder work, like the stuff you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Like going to therapy or getting up and like going to the gym when like it's not that like your body doesn't want it. You just like don't really feel like it because you're kind of stuck in this like kind of thing.
Yep.
Or like, and like I say this in the least diet culture-y way because like that is so not my vibe. But like right now I feel like I'm trying to do this too, like choosing the healthier option sometimes because I want to go to my comfort food because I don't feel mentally good. But I know I'll feel mentally better if I take care of myself.
Yes.
Too, which is like a harder decision.
So hard.
And
I've been feeling like that too, of like I'm drinking so much freaking coffee and then I'm like, oh my God.
I wonder why I'm anxious.
I'm like, so tired, but my whole body is like, no, never sleeping. And I'm like, I must need more coffee. But it's like making those little switches out. Like I do love, have you ever had dandelion root?
Yeah.
Yeah, I live by that. And I used to drink it a ton. Yeah, so you can get it in a tea and you can actually get it in like a powder form.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I use it as a substitute to coffee. And you just like boil up some water, and then I do a little teaspoon of the dandelion root, mix it in with like a teeny bit of almond milk, and it tastes similar to coffee. Obviously not like coffee, but it's the color of it. It's like all of that, and it's so good for your gut. So it's little things like that too that I just have to get back into because they're worth it, Yeah.
Or like I'll go through phases of like being so on top of like making a smoothie for myself the night before, putting it in the fridge so that way I can just grab it as I go out the door. And I know I'm like having, nutrients and like protein and like actually eating things that are going to like make me feel better. And I'll like pack my lunch the night before. So that way when I'm getting to work at 6 a.m., I'm not just like having a piece of toast with peanut butter, which like that's not bad, but like that's not going to give me enough.
Yeah. You need
to
more.
push through until like hours later.
Yeah.
When I can like finally have a snack or something. Or then like I don't have a lunch. So then I just like grab the quickest thing, like just having like a bar or, you know.
I find that a lot when I buy like, I've been buying even like crappy bars and I'm like, oh, it's just a quick thing. I'll just have that real quick. And I'm like, but
you
then
just don't feel.
it doesn't fill me up at all. It's
Right.
just to like keep me busy.
Right. Yeah. Totally.
Which is fine. I mean, I think that's okay. But
It is
as long as
totally
you know
okay.
it, you know.
Yeah. It's like more so, less about like the actual thing that you're eating. Cause like I am literally never gonna like police you on what you're eating or judge you on what you're eating because I am the last person to do that. But like taking care of like your future self.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like at night before I go to bed, I don't freaking want to clean up the kitchen and I don't want to like make my lunch and dirty the blender and have to clean that and like all of that. But I know that like tomorrow me will feel a lot better and less anxious and less in her rut.
So true.
If I do that.
So true.
Which is also a balance because I'm like, I don't give a fuck about that girl tomorrow.
Yeah.
I just want to lay down.
I know one of the things that I struggle with that I don't think many people do, but I feel now like the next layer of that is like what you're saying. I feel all those same things, but then another layer is like, then Chad's on the couch, like waiting for me to come and sit with him and like spend time with him and like spending time. I mean, like watching Netflix, which is so annoying, but like that's the way where we've like channeled our time together now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it's important to him. And so it's like, I just feel so torn all the time of like, now I'm gonna have to like tell him, and then he's gonna be like, you know, annoyed that I'm spending time cleaning more. But it's like, but I need to do these things, you know? So there's so many layers to it.
It's a balance.
Yeah.
I think that's also part of my rut too, not to like air all my dirty laundry. Episode 2, here we go. And Mark literally was like, Lindsay, are you gonna like talk about me on the podcast? Like, yeah, buddy, buckle up.
Yeah. Your seatbelt on.
Right? But feeling like we're in this space of like, it's the first year of our marriage, which is like huge, but then we also bought a house and are planning our wedding that we have not had yet. And like starting a new job. He started a new position at his work. So like
so many things.
Yeah, like I know it's just a phase, but I'm sure you tell yourself that too with like having, I guess she's not a newborn anymore, but like still less than a year old, like still feels like new. You have a baby. And I'll tell myself that, but I still feel like that adds to my rut of like, we're not in a place that I want us to be in right now, where like, I don't feel like either of us have the energy to like put as much into our relationship as like we should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that stresses me out.
Yeah, it's hard. I remember hearing from someone that they like don't believe that life is a balance. Like there is no balance in life. And I kind of agree with that to some extent. Like I can't be all to everything, you know? And it's like some seasons of your life you're dedicated to your job and other seasons you're dedicated to your relationship or your kid. But it is hard. I don't think that there is a balance, honestly, or at least a healthy one, because something's always got to give. And it's like, I think the goal is to not let yourself be that thing, you know?
Yeah. It's like you can have it all, just not all at once kind of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like the thing that makes me nervous, and it's definitely like the anxious side of myself and the side of myself that like puts a lot of pressure and like overthinks and thinks too far ahead, is like, okay, well, if and I'm not saying like we're doing badly or anything. It's just like we are doing the same. Like we just watch Netflix and we're on our phones and like we're not connecting and like that kind of stuff. But then I look ahead and I'm like, well, this is supposed to be our honeymoon year of marriage. Like we don't even have kids yet. And like we need to like be building this foundation and like building like habits or routines or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now before we have that.
Yeah.
because I feel like it also can be like, if you let it just become
Exactly.
like, oh, well, this is just the norm and this is just how it is. Like,
Yeah.
then it can be like a long-term thing. And then all of a sudden it's like a year later and you're like,
Yeah.
wait, we haven't like talked.
Yeah, I think that that's the biggest thing of just recognizing, like, hey, we're in this, having that conversation, and then
Yeah.
finding like one little thing that can like bring you a little bit closer. Because then sometimes I do feel like I put myself in these situations where, like for example, I didn't want to have Annie near me on my phone because like I just don't like that. That's like makes me feel yucky when she looks at me and I don't notice her because I'm
Right.
like scrolling through Instagram.
Yeah.
But then I'm like sitting in the room with her and my phone's like right there and I'm like, don't look at your phone, don't look at your phone. And I put myself in this situation where like now I'm uncomfortable. I'm not relaxed because like I
Yeah,
do
you're
just want to
putting
freaking
pressure on
chill and
yourself.
like check an email or something.
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing with like you and your spouse of like, all right, well, now we can't watch Netflix and we can't be on our phones together. So like we have to do this. And then that's not relaxing and natural
Right.
either, you know? So
Yeah.
it's finding something small. And Chad and I have done, I got this little book on Amazon. It's like a couple's question and it's like
Yeah.
a little question that we answer every night at dinner, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
and
I
it's
like
like
that.
the smallest thing, but it's just that one little thing that you can kind of have a deeper conversation and like
Yeah.
you're answering this freaking question, okay?
Yes.
And it's actually like deep questions, which is crazy. Like so, we get uncomfortable sometimes. Both
Yeah.
of us are like,
But
oh,
that's
shit,
good.
do we have the like capacity to have this conversation right now?
Is he serious?
But yeah, I totally agree, and I've been
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. It's just like, and like he's sweet. He'll, you know, be like, you know, maybe we should like choose one night where we like go and just like try a new place around here or like
Yeah.
even just grab a drink or like get takeout and like, so it's not that
Yeah,
we're not putting any effort in.
Yeah.
It's just
life.
wanting to make sure that at least we're being mindful of like, okay, at least we recognize that it's a phase and like we can choose some small things
Yes.
to do.
Yep.
Ugh, it's hard.
It's hard. It's hard, but we're not alone.
No, we're not. And like, yeah, it feels like we were saying with this podcast, once you talk about it with someone, you realize like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, you're also going through that. Or like you were there at one point.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. And I definitely want to have that conversation with other people if they're
Yeah.
feeling that too. So reach out to us.
I know. Maybe we can like post some things on IG and like
Yeah.
see what responses we get and we can share them next time.
Yeah. We got such
like,
good responses
hopefully-
of ideas to talk about, things that I hadn't even thought
Me
about. Like
too.
how to get out of seasonal depression. And oh my God, this is one of my favorite things, the products. Like I love sharing products.
Yes.
But like actually ones that we use.
Yeah, me
So
too.
we definitely have to think more about that too. Maybe like talking about your favorite product of the week or something
Yeah,
like that.
definitely.
That'd be cool.
I know, that would be good. I feel like the seasonal depression thing definitely ties into this conversation too.
Yeah.
Of like, yeah, it also, we can recognize that like we're in March in New England. Like,
Yeah.
not like this winter has been so bad, but like it still is like, we're at the tail end of winter. Like, you're in that period of just like, oh, I just need sunshine.
Yes.
And, like,
I'm like chugging vitamin D pills.
Yes.
Like literally
Yes.
every day.
bring me back to life. Yeah,
Cool.
I feel like that was good.
Yeah.
Just like trying to make small choices, but also taking the pressure off yourself a little bit. But
Yeah.
like, don't have to be doing
Yeah.
perfectly.
Yeah. It's funny too, because I think that we had a whole theme about this that we didn't even plan, you know, living
Yeah.
in the neutral, living in the gray area,
Yeah.
and just living in the moment instead of living in the highs and lows.
Right. And like feeling horrible about the lows and feeling like you always have to be at the high.
Chasing that.
Like, that is how you get addicted to drugs.
Yes, that is. Totally.
So
we
let's
don't take
just-
drugs over here. I can't even smoke pot. Are you
I
kidding
mean,
me?
no, like we cannot hang at all.
I have 2 cups of coffee and I'm like, I need to have a therapy session and have dandelion root to recover.
Really? I have like
I'm
an
addicted.
afternoon coffee, and I'm like,
We go out to dinner. Amanda and I and our friend Cassie went out to dinner last weekend, and we all have to have a conversation about, all right, we're gonna have espresso martinis and be up forever. And then the waitress comes over and we ask for a decaf espresso martini. Like that was the conversation. That was
Yes.
how in depth we were worried about these espresso.
Yes.
And she's like, they're all decaf.
and I wasn't gonna have more than one.
Yeah. But then I made you split one with
regardless.
me.
I mean, that was the best. Oh, honestly, they were so good.
Oh my god, they were so good.
Soma and Beverly. That's what it's called, right?
Yes, they were so good.
Hit it up. It was real good.
The espresso martinis. Telling you.
Yeah, but I appreciated the main decaf because
Yes.
at
That's how stressed out we get about this, though.
yes, but it's real. Like we went to a wedding last fall, and at the rehearsal dinner, it was at like this really cool bar that had like all these craft cocktails, and like all the presentation of them all were like really pretty. And so I had like a glass of wine or something, and then I saw people. Oh no, I had an espresso martini at the hotel bar before we went to the dinner. Because I had like a chai one, so it was like very fall-y. Like I love a chai.
Yes.
And then that was gonna be it.
Oh no.
And then we were at this rehearsal dinner, and I'm watching all these people get these like beautiful espresso martinis that had this big like it was like not whipped cream, but like a mix between like a whipped cream and like the foam that normally is on top. Like it was like so
Yum.
foamy and delicious.
Yum.
And they made like pretty art with like the little like sprinkles on top kind of thing. Like what it was, probably like cinnamon or something. I don't know. It was so good. So then I had 2 of those.
Worse.
And then I laid in bed that night, just like my heart's pounding. I have like horrible anxiety. I'm like, yeah, bitch, I wonder why with your 3 espresso martinis. It might have been, but like we probably could have just stopped at like 1 or 2.
True.
But, you know, we're doing our best. We're
Love
learning.
learning.
We're learning and we're growing and we're
learning.
listening and
Yes, exactly. We do the best we can, okay?
Mhm.
All right, Paul, what do you say?
Literally nothing matters.
Literally
That's what he's
nothing
saying.
matters. He's like, look at my teeth. They're about to fall out.
They are.